Hey, it's your girl KV back with another review. We are back with Love and Marriage Huntsville, y'all. I have so many little remotes for this thing to start and stop, but I don't know where any of them are. So we have been on a break, right? Yeah, we've been on a long break. I think the third episode back comes tonight, and I'm doing 2 right now. Yeah. Okay. Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 10, Episode 9. Can we fix it? Okay. We start off seeing Trisha in there training her son. It was a cute little moment. They in the gym. She coaching him on how to pump the iron and how to get cut the way he want to, gain weight, lose weight, whatever goal he was intending. She was guiding him on that as well. So they end up having a heart-to-heart. She asked him, how you doing? He was like, I'm good. She was like, nah, but how you really doing? Because I'm wanting to say I'm good, and don't really be good. So making sure that that's not what you're doing. He basically tells her that he's sad, he's depressed, because things are crazy right now. Everybody around him arguing. Ain't nobody got no daggone sense, okay? Not just with Trisha and Marquez, but also with Ken. With Ken and Marquez, and with Trish and Ken. It's just a hot mess. And it's just crazy that they had the nerve to say that the kids are not affected by all of this craziness that's going on. And it's like, your son literally had to come downstairs and I guess get Ken up off his daddy. Make sure his daddy ain't get beat to a pulp. Escort his daddy out the house. And you think that he's not affected by y'all's carrying on. Okay. But he don't feel like he can come to talk to her much. And he feels like she be doing too much when they argue. Like, yeah, daddy crazy, daddy gonna do what he do. But you be doing stuff too. It's just certain things that should not be said. I said, He like, it ain't just daddy, it's you too. I said, get her together because she needs to know this. Like, I get it, you mad, you gonna forget the cameras there. It ain't like you trying to expose him on TV, but it's just certain stuff you shouldn't want to expose him on. Because you got two kids and still married to the man. So you talking about how trifling and low down and everything he is shows how desperate you are for staying with him for so long. And still staying with it. Still ain't divorced this man. I'm like, is it because I give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe it's because she would have to pay him alimony and she don't want to have to pay him alimony. Maybe that's why she ain't really all that eager to sign them papers, okay? She let Ken take care of her for a little while, quit her job and let Ken take care. So when she do divorce, I ain't got nothing to give you, buddy. We making the same money, but because ain't no way you just staying married to this man just to stay married to this man. So she ends up saying that she's gonna go to therapy. I think the son mentioned that she needs help or something along the lines, and she just kind of says, yeah, she gonna have to get it together because now her son is telling her, you need to get it together. Next we see a scene with Nell and Chris talking about Destiny wanting to date Twan, the godson, okay? After dating Lance, their son. So Chris is flabbergasted by this mess. He just can't believe that Destiny out here homie hopping like this. He said Destiny is taking a page from Martell book, huh? She being retaliatory? Is this her little give back for him having a baby? Could be. She like, well, Lance gave the blessing, so it is what it is. He don't care nothing about that. It's still messy in his book. And so is she getting back, or does she really even like Twan? I think that she actually likes Twan. I think this is a case of, like I said, Destiny likes to keep somebody that's already around, so she ain't got to bring a real boo around. And I get it to a certain extent, but it's getting too much at this point. Like, I guess, you know, Lance is the one that messed up their situation by having a whole baby, so that ain't really her fault. But, girl, something's going to have to give because you're just looking ridiculous at this point. On the next episode, at least. Now we see Nell talking about how Tisha told Destiny about the baby, knew about the baby, and that's why they left the reunion right after. And she need to keep my name out of mouth, you know. I sure did say it. I said, oh, okay. So Destiny and Twan have a business meeting. She wants to talk about him guarding and protecting her body. I said, from who and what? And with what money? Like, what money is Destiny picking up to go just to have a bodyguard just for random events? Huh? Okay. If you say so. So she brings up the whole googly eyes comment and how they're both just kind of sitting there acting oblivious to if they be flirting. Oh, am I flirting? Oh, I'm flirting. Yeah. If I'm flirting, it's because you cute. Oh, no, but I didn't say I was flirting, but just corny little kid stuff, right? So he like, you talk to my mama? You talk to my mama? Yeah, I talked to her. She's like, oh, you call her mama? Yes. He was at her vow renewal. Why I say vowel? He was at her vow renewal, okay? So clearly, he is tied to the family somewhere, somehow, because you met him at an intimate event of Nell's. So it's blowing me how everybody's like, oh, godson. Yes, hence why he would be at Nell's wedding. Yes. Why are we... Anybody else? I don't understand. The googly eyes happened when she was at the wedding and he walked by. Clearly, he is very tied to the family. So it's just goofy that her and everybody's, oh, godson. Stupid. So where we at with it? Yeah, he's like, yeah, she asked me, she talked to, you know, me and my brother Lance, you know, the one that you were just dating, play dating, maybe smash. We don't know. We don't know. The one that had the baby on you, we don't know. We're going to see. But yeah, she asked if we smashed. Just like, she's so messy. She's so nosy. I believe they have. Is that how she gets discounted guarding services? Because where's she getting this money to get her body guarded by Twan? Is he taking... He'll run her a discount, I'm sure. Destiny says that she wants to be accepted for who she is because she's a lot of different people. I said, you scaring the hoes, Destiny. You are scaring the hoes. He's like, whoa, okay, this turning into a horror story. Destiny, you scaring the hoes, baby. So Trisha and Ken, they at home having a conversation about whether they really want to be together or not. Ken is feeling away because no one in the house is considering his feelings. I said, damn, what the kids do? They probably over your toxicity. You be yelling. She said that it was a point where Ken threw up in her face, like, everything I do for this family, I got your son a car, I did this, I get it, I did it. And Xavier came downstairs and threw them car keys at him. I ain't got time for that. You ain't finna talk. This what you not finna throw up in our face. So them kids tired of your mess too, Ken. Let's not act like it's all Trisha. She's toxic too, but you're toxic as well, okay? So he said that when he's mad, he still treats everybody the same. But when they're mad, sometimes he'll starve. They won't even cook for him. They won't check on him, nothing. And he is over it. He wants them to treat them like he treats them. So Trisha argues that sometimes she's just in a mood. I'm not mad at you. I'm just thinking. And I don't want to talk. And he takes that too personal. I said, I can see both sides. Because if you don't, Trisha don't know how to communicate. So if you don't know how to communicate properly and convincingly, that I'm in my mind right now, it's not about you, just let me zone in right now, versus you just sitting there And Trisha gives me, she already got a resting bitch face. So she's just sitting there looking mad as hell. So yeah, I'm gonna think something wrong with you too. And I'm gonna be awkwardly around the house like, but what's your problem? So she's just like, listen, don't take it too personal, but girl, you have to understand when you sitting there scowling and you mad and people trying to communicate and talk to you and you not, you're messing up the energy. So once you mess up the energy and the people in the house catch on to your energy, now everybody in the house mad. And you see how that happens? You see? And I guess that's why she spent so much time in the gym. So she ain't sitting in the house looking crazy and mad. Her emotional intelligence is just non-existent. And that scares me when people like that have children. Because it's like, if this is your carrying on in front of your kids, in front of your daughter, in front of your son, and you know, you don't think nothing of it, what are we not seeing? What do you feel like the camera shouldn't see about your parenting? You know what I mean? So there's that. He said, well, if you can't you can't just mistreat everybody because you're having a bad day. Like I said, just throwing off the energy of the house, being all pissy. So Ken is just like, listen, either you're going to have to get it together or you're going to be lonely. So go to therapy or be lonely. Your pick. I said, basically. But like I said, he need therapy too. So you need to schedule your own sessions with Dr. Francis, boo. And then y'all need to go as a couple. Like, I don't understand why he can't have no emotional maturity and self-realizations as well, okay? Nell got Lance doing some work at the daycare. She feel like he be putting her on the back burner because she a discounted customer, okay? Martell ends up popping up, and him and Marceau, he says him and Marceau, you know, they smoothed it over. Everything's good now. He tells them that he's moving Ariane over into the investment property. They're like, oh man, that's crazy, right? You ain't gonna get no money off that now. You ain't gonna get no money. That's ugh. He like, well, shoot, it's good for me because at least it's occupied and I ain't gotta pay rent. And they like, oh, you pay her rent now? Yeah, I've been paying her rent. They like, oh, well, good then. You got it over there. You ain't gotta pay rent no more. It just cracked me up how that happened, y'all. So lastly, on this episode, Trisha goes to see Dr. Francis, and she reveals that she is now the leader of her siblings since all of the death in her family. You know, both of her parents died, and then her sister passed right in front of her. Like, she legit was trying to resuscitate her sister right in front of her. So she got a lot to be mad about. That's what I was thinking. I was like, we understand why you angry, but that's why you go to therapy. You know, we're glad you finally here. It is long overdue, okay? You out here still married, dating, but won't divorce, messing up the kids, and boyfriend beating on the daddy, and you was probably like, get him, Ken, get him. I'm tired of this. And it's too much, okay? Too much Takita. Okay, so what is that? Her dad was her hero, her bestie. He was a drill sergeant, and she feel like, you know, that's how she was raised, that's how she act, and she want to be just like him. But yet he did have an anger problem. Well, why do you want to be just like him? Like, can we leave the bad traits? Okay, let's at least try. The first step is acknowledging. The second or so step is getting a therapy. So I guess here we are. She says the gym is her outlet because, you know, hey, that's what the gym can be for a lot of people. You angry, you depressed, you this or that. Go let it out at the gym, okay? Go let it out. Dr. Francis said, well, it's like, you know, with all this going on and you lifting such a heavy load, sounds like you need a spotter in real life. I said, come on, Dr. Francis. I love me some Dr. Francis, okay? With the gym reference, okay? And she's like, I thought I had a spotter. I thought I had a spotter in my husband. But apparently not, because we all know that Marquez was with her all that time. They had these 2 kids, I think. when she came on the show, what was it, like 14 and 10 or something like that? So they like 16, 17, 12, 13, 14, something like that. But the kids is, you know, big kids, and they have been apart for a while, and he ain't been really helping, taking care of the kids, doing none of that, just being all absentee and stuff. So yeah. And then, and then when she was grieving is when he decided, he was like, yeah, I'm good, I'm straight on this marriage. So it's like, wow, you really left her in such a vulnerable position and just threw some more on top of her. So yes, y'all, that was that episode. So next to episode 10, like a bat out of nail. I said, not a bat out of nail. They love some name puns, don't they, boy? So we see Trish is out with Sharon, and she tells her about how she went to go see Dr. Ken. She tells her about how Ken had left and they had spent a few days apart. And Sharon is like, you know, Ken is a good man, and you need to stop being stubborn and fix this. And Trisha lets her know that she went to counseling, and she knows that she is emotionally unavailable to everybody. She's like, even my kids, girl, my kids, somebody can't even cry in front of me because they don't see me cry. And, you know, she cried in counseling. And Sharon is just like, oh, wow, girl, I ain't never seen you cry because I don't cry. She was like, yeah, girl. She thinks that crying is a weak emotion, and that's not an emotion that she wanted to show her kids. I said, crying is human, and we should show that our kids that we are human, you know. So Sharon is just like, yeah, but girl, I was knowing you for a while. How long was we working out together before I ever really knew about you? And she was just like, yeah, girl, I don't really let people in. I ain't trying to get attached to people, and they let me down or they leave me. She said when she went to her parents' gravesite for the first time, and it was a big weight off her shoulders. First, she thought it was going to be like silly to talk to them while they in the ground gone, but she did, and it was a relief for her. So we see Kimmy has a bath bomb making event with the girls, everybody except for Nell. So Kimmy, Tisha, Destiny, and Trisha. She says, you know, Nell and Fletch are having their Fletchtivities. They having a little game night tonight, so she got to get ready for that. Trish gonna come and say she thought they was gonna be working out because she be challenging Kimmy to work out and let's do something active. Tisha said, girl, that's your thing. Kimmy like to chill and relax. She said, I see. Girl, you see. So they talk about if Destiny and Lance are still together. She's like, no, girl, you know, I was talking to Googly Eyes, and I was talking to him about Googly Eyes, and guess what, y'all? It's his god brother. They're like, no. I'm like, he was at Nell's wedding. Who y'all thought he was going to be? So she's like, yes, but Lance graced me, you know, to talk to Googly Eyes. He blessed it. He said, you know, he ain't going to have no hard feelings about it. Then she says that, yeah, but girl, anyway, enough about that. When I talked to Nell, she said, you better tell Tisha to keep my motherfucking name out her mouth, okay? Saying that I left LA to go to my godchild being born, you know, last child. She better keep my name out. It don't matter. She better keep my name. I said, Jesus. It was just so much going on, y'all. Just messy. Just messy. Where we at? Kimmy is just like, listen, I want to move forward with the group, and this is an event of togetherness, okay? Tisha, what they say about Nell? Tisha's just like, but that's what she said, right? Is that what she said? Kimmy, is that what she said? I said, if I remember correctly, that's what she said. But Nell is an interesting character. So Tisha, so they said Nell's be saying that she's over stuff when she's really not over stuff. So after that, they get to Nell's game night. They're playing a version of Flip Cup with these little balls on the side, and instead of, you know, all these old people left to be chugging over beer, so they got to flip the ball in the cup and do something. Trisha's like, oh, we're playing with balls all day, huh? And Nell was like, huh? What other balls y'all playing with? What I miss? And Kimmy is like, well, yeah, you know, we went to go make bath bombs earlier. And she like, y'all went to make bath bombs? Who went? Was it a couples thing? And, you know, or was it the girls? Kimmy said, all the girls but you. I said, Jesus, Kimmy. Kimmy, did you want her to feel away or no? Okay. Martell gets there and like there's like, is this a couples thing? Who is this a couples thing? And they like, Martell ain't no couple. And who was it? Was it Reese or was it Marcel? It was like, he a couple, look at his shirt. He unzipped his jacket. It's a picture of him and Ariana on the shirt. He said, it's a little corny. It's a little corny, but you know, yeah, she's my lady, my fiance. I said, if you say so, boy. They somehow, because they were like, who missing? Who else not here? Destiny and Lance. Destiny and Lance still got to get here. Are they coming together? And everybody, who? Are they coming together? Are they coming together? So everybody's sitting here waiting to see. Y'all, it was so funny. It was so funny when Destiny walks in and she walks in with Ken. And Martell was trying to take a sip of his drink right when she walked in. And next year I was like, Brr, and he like, and they ended up showing it double because they showed it up close when he did it. And then they showed the whole room as they were walking in. And she was like, oh. Even the straw was dumbfounded, bro. I was cracking up. So everybody's just like, oh, okay. We thought she was gonna be here with Lance, but she walking in with Will. And y'all, I ain't even gonna lie. The first time I watched it, I was not paying attention all that much. So I thought that she walked in with Twan. I didn't really pay attention to the man until they said something here, until Ken was like, yeah, I've been knowing Will for a while. And I was like, wait, Will? And I rewound and I was like, nigga, that is Will. What is she doing here with Will? Yeah, Will had asked me on a date, so why not bring him here? I was just like, okay. And then Lance comes in with the date as well. And clearly he did not tell this date where they was going because she came in like a little hoochie mama, bruh. She had a little short little skirt on. She was looking like, she was looking like how we used to go to the club in college. Like we would have like a little blazer on, like a little business casual blazer on, but we like dang her naked up under it, you know? And you can see like so yeah, that's how she was dressed. And I'm like, did you tell her you was going to your mama's game night? Or y'all probably had some plans after that. So she dressed for the plans after that. Okay. It was different. So he admits that he was a little bit bothered about her having a date, but he's also like, but I'm very confused as well because I thought that it would have been Twan, not Will, right? So Kimmy is over here trying to push Tisha and Dale to talk because she feels like it's just a big misunderstanding, but you know, because Nell absolutely said that. So she's like, why she mad at Tisha for saying that she said something that we was all there to hear her say. So it's clearly a misunderstanding, right? Clearly. So we flip over to the guys in the corner for now, right? And we see Will ask the guys about Destiny. So how is Destiny? As a person, she's a nice, wholesome woman. That's not what I want to hear. And they just bust out laughing. I said, huh? I wasn't shocked because these men don't really respect women like that for it to at the very least be like, yo, chill. Yo, chill. It's like that's your homegirl, but I guess, hey, you homie hopping like this, what are we to think? This the type of attention you bring to yourself for people to be like, if everybody else in the crew, is that what we doing? Type deal. He says she got one night to prove her worth. I ain't trying to hear wholesome woman. That ain't what I want. I'm trying to. Martell was like, oh, you trying to hear that she down for the cause. I said, this is disgusting. I am disgusted, okay? The guys are laughing and Lance is over just like, wow. whoa, Destiny, if this is what you're gonna deal with, you could just stay with me. I was about to, you know what's happening now, because this is terrible. Lance is just over there like, man, this is crazy. Why is she doing this? Why would she bring Will? Why would she even? Will is a dog. It really don't even make sense to be there. If this is Nell's event, y'all, you already keeping it in the family. You might as well have brought Twan around. You might as well got the awkwardness out the way. Yep, I'm finna be here with him while you and you stand here. Girl, it was just so goofy, and now Nell gonna be telling her, don't take this girl serious because she out here being a floozy, okay? Nell, I ain't even gonna say what Nell gonna say because it's fighting words. But stop dating within the group, Destiny. This is enough. Even if you be playing too much to the point where it's just looking sloppy. Because first it was Jalen, which is Kimmy's son. Then it was Lance, which is Nell's son. And now it was Twan, which is Nell's godson. And now it is Will, which is Ken's brother friend. Like, that's 4 people within, you know, little short out ties of the group. 1 degree separated from the group that you done ran through. Whether you slept with them or not, it does not matter because the perception is what it is, okay? Let Twan be last. Put Will where he go. I'm sure the guy's gonna tell you what he said. Date Twan, see what that is, and let that be the last, okay, girl? They bring up the fact that Lance and Destiny dated, and Will is shocked. Who's that? Reese gonna say, as tall as you is, you ain't know you was a rebound? I said he had to know because they brought it up as far as they was like, oh yeah, we thought that she was gonna come with Lance. And he was just like, oh, okay. So you had to know that clearly that's because they thought they was dating. Okay? But yes, y'all. Do I need to? Meanwhile, back to the ladies, right? Trying to get T and Nell back on track. But we know that Nell don't mess with Letitia Scott, okay? That Letitia Scott, she better keep my name out of my mouth. That Letitia Scott. She be cracking me up how she be saying Letitia Scott whole name. So Letitia's like, okay, well, if you saying I'm lying, why did you leave the reunion then? That ain't none of your business. Tisha like, why you giving me attitude, Nell? Why you giving me attitude? I guess Tisha must have been doing her finger like this because at some point Nell starts diggling her finger and she's like, yeah, if you gonna do it, I'm gonna do it type deal. And I'm like, Nell, you don't feel weird arguing with these girls that's dang near young enough to be young enough to be your daughter, look dang near. Like, girl, you too old to be out here arguing with these folks that's 10, 15 younger than you, you know, type deal. How Nell won't tell her age, but it's given. Cause how old is Lance? Lance is like early 30s. Destiny is like late 30s, early 40s. Like, come on, y'all. You don't even think all this, but I guess if Kimmy there doing the same. I guess that's why it's Kim. Well, I guess that's why I really ended up being Kimmy and Nell. Well, Wanda say, I get Kimmy, that she my age. That's when I found out that Kimmy was much older than the girl. I get Kimmy, she my age. Y'all remember when Wanda said that? Ooh, baby, that was cracking me up. So why you leave LA then? And she said, well, we're not talking about my granddaughter. We're not doing that, period. Teacher said, I don't care about your granddaughter. Well, that's a mouthful right there. But it's just like, girl, you're doing too much. It's just about to go in. And she claimed that the baby wasn't on the way, but she kept forgetting the dates. It was just, you know, all types of foolishness when it's just like, girl, you said it. Why are we doing all this if you said it? Kimmy ends up interjecting for some reason and trying to calm it down, but she kind of starts getting loud with Nell. Nell is already loud. Her default is to be loud. Whether it's, hey, when everybody fucking in, she was, hey, how you doing? I said, what is this voice, Nell? What is this voice, ma'am? And so I was just confused on how Kimmy ended up getting in it. And yeah, She ends up telling her, Nell, okay, if you keep on yelling at me, I'm going to dunk you in this pool. Nell hop up. You ain't going to dunk me nowhere. You ain't going to dunk me nowhere. Y'all know what it was giving. I ain't going to get none of this work. If y'all is loving hip-hop Atlanta fans, with Jessica Dime, I think it was Tommy. That said it, but they was in that boardroom. What was they in that boardroom? They went on their nice little business casual suits. They was in their boardroom. And I guess Tommy must have said something like, any bitch in here can get this work. And Jessica Dime was like, who can get this work? I can't get none of this work. That's Jessica Dime was like, baby, I can't get none of this work, okay? What? No, we ain't talking. You ain't gonna dunk me in no pool, okay? You ain't dunking me nowhere. Baby, I was too weak. I said, oh my God, these women's like 60 years old about to come to blows. What is happening? Love and Marriage Huntsville, this is crazy that this is where we at. Two of the oldest ones in the food pools about to be the ones that come to blows on this show. My Lord, okay? I can't get none of this work though, okay? So now some of the guys are going out there to check on the ladies. Tisha's like, oh, so now she the victim. Oh, so now she the victim. And Nell is like, oh, 1.0 and 2.0 trying to come for me. I don't even understand why you come for me. Now, Kimmy was on Carlos King's Monday Night Live, and she said that a lot was cut out from this scene. And I mean, we know that. We know that these scenes go on much longer than we see, because the jumps that happen sometimes and the way they only show one person when certain conversations are happening, like, nah, show us the whole room to see if the reply is when that comment was said to them or was it way later. They do a lot with editing, okay? So it still seems like it was a leap, though, Kimmy, for you to tell this lady, stop yelling at me before I dunk you in this pool. You could have walked away. You could have been like, oh, I'm finna go in here with my husband because you're doing too much and I ain't trying to go there with you, but I'm going to dunk you in this pool. I said, oh, my gosh. So Kimmy is getting loud with her. They already loud. I'm still wondering how Kimmy got in this. You supposed to be here to referee this. And she's like, 1.0 and 2.0. Nell's like, girl, what you talking about? Because, no, Kim goes like, why are you talking like that? Why are you talking to me like that? Nell's like, girl, you just threatened me. You just threatened to dunk me in the pool. Kimmy in her confessional says that, you know, she was basically triggered because her dad was abusive. He yelled a lie. So essentially, somebody yelling at her can be a trigger. And this moment was a trigger for her. I said, okay. She does apologize and they hug it out. Tisha's in her confessional said it'd be a cold day in hell before I apologize to Nell. I said, well, there you have it. Cheers. And that is the first two episodes back, 9 and 10. I had to get these out before the new one came on tonight. So tomorrow, I probably will do Salt Lake City review. Then Monday, tonight's Love and Marriage Huntsville. Tuesday, Housewives of Potomac. Then I'm gonna take a break. Probably double up on one of them days, honestly. But yes, y'all, reviews shall come. They shall come. I shall get it together, okay? So, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know if y'all are watching Love and Marriage Huntsville. I know they lost a lot of people over the years because all of the foolishness that occurred. But if you still hanging on in there, let me know. If you're not hanging on in there, you just down for me, let me know, okay? Until next time, bye.